Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I want to go over a specific bait that's been particularly good for me when bass are on shad, schools of shad, balls of shad in the fall of the year. This is a bait that's worked well for me back in my days when I lived in Southern California, fishing those Southern California area lakes, those canyon style clear water reservoirs, but I've also noticed it to work here in East Texas and really throughout the fall. In a lot of places, I feel like it's going to be a proven producer. It's a bait that you've got in your tackle box, I'm pretty sure, and you just need to dust it off and tie it on and put it to good use. Before I get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. One of the more frustrating things that can happen this time of year is you can get into a situation where you found the bass, you found the bait fish that they're feeding on, you know what's happening. They may be up against the bank, they may be out over open water, but you're trying different presentations and nothing seems to work. Different color patterns, still not getting bites. Plastic, hard baits, fast, slow. This is a bait that I really feel like can work really well at drawing that reaction strike because it imitates the bait fish so well, and it's got the flash, the movement, and the sound a lot of times that the bass really respond well to. So the bait that I'm talking about is a jerkbait, but not just any jerkbait. This is a smaller jerkbait, like a 2-hook jerkbait. And you have some smaller varieties that also work well. Whenever I'm fishing shallow this time of year in that October, November time frame, one of the things that I've noticed is you'll have little areas where there's maybe one ball of shad or 2 balls of shad. You'll see birds lining up on the bank, maybe not a bunch of them, but maybe 1 or 2, a heron or an egret. You may even see some schooling type activity, but the bait is small. The threadfin shad, the young of the year shad, or whatever, fishing shallow this time of year in that October, November time frame, one of the things that I've noticed is you'll have little areas where there's maybe 1 ball of shad or 2 balls of shad. You'll see birds lining up on the bank, maybe not a bunch of them, but maybe 1 or 2, a heron or an egret. You may even see some schooling type activity, but the bait is small. The threadfin shad, the young of the year shad, or whatever bait fish you might have where they have had these fish corralled up in or around the bank, around a creek channel, in the back of a creek, or even a pocket, a secondary pocket, this jerkbait can work really well. This pattern I found works well because, you know, if you fish a traditional 3-hook jerkbait, it's a little bit bigger than the bait that you're going to find. And so a smaller 2-hook jerkbait can work really well. This one is actually the Strike King KVD J200, and this is the KVD J100. As you can see, they're, you know, one's just a little bit bigger than the other, and one's going to dive a little bit shallower. So if you want something that's going to run a little bit deeper, you're going to reach for that 200, and a little bit shallower, that 100. And obviously, when I'm taking into consideration about the size of the bait fish, they're also going to be good. What I have noticed with these jerkbaits, you'll come into some areas and the shad's really shallow, maybe even around bridge pilings, maybe in the backs of pockets, like I said, or in the very backs of creeks, specifically where bass have them rounded up. And the way that I fish these guys is just to throw them up there real shallow, keep my rod tip high and twitch it. Because if you keep your rod tip down, they'll dig into the mud. You kind of want to keep it up because, again, the bait fish is moving up in the water column because the bass have him herded up towards the top of the water column. So it's a great presentation for mimicking those bait fish this time of year when the bass are in shallow water. I've noticed these types of situations. I'll come back there with a bladed jig like a Strike King Thunder Cricket or a spinner bait and maybe even a lipless crankbait or square bill, and you're not getting those bites. But the erratic action of the jerkbait twitched in and around those areas can really elicit a strike, specifically with just that minnow bait fish profile like that. Just works really well at imitating those bait fish, and the erratic action, even in really clear water, will get those fish to strike. So, you know, just your basic bait fish patterns will work well. This is kind of a bone or white color. And this one here is just kind of a thread fin, clear. This one's called crystal shad. So sometimes they want a really bright one, and then sometimes they want a shiny one, like a gold sexy shad or a chrome sexy shad, or even a Tennessee type shad pattern. Something to consider for trying to catch those fish that can be difficult to catch in shallow water, and the traditional bait choices aren't working like you'd like them to. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, and until next time, good fishing.